Hello, I'm Henry Tomlinson from Green Street Hammers, and I will be providing the West Ham Chelsea preview for Hammers Poles Apart. The Chelsea game is going to be a very hard game. I think even if we had started well after the restart, it would have been a very difficult game. But even more so with how we've performed after the restart. The Wolves game was appalling, toothless in attack, and there wasn't much of an improvement against Spurs. There was a little bit, and we created a couple chances, but nothing too meaningful other than Jarrod Bowen hitting the post. So it's going to need to be a big improvement for us to get even a point against Chelsea, especially as we need the points at the moment. We are slipping dangerously close to being in the relegation zone. We're only out of it by goal difference at the moment. So it's a very perilous position West Ham are in at the moment, and there's a lot of questions surrounding the club. One of the bigger ones at the moment is whether David Moyes will remain in charge for the end of the season. I think he will. I don't think the board will make a decision like that this close to the end. I think they're just going to stick with him and see how it goes. There's rumours that he's going to take control of the club even if we get relegated. I feel as though those rumours started suggesting that he would still be in charge, but we went down fighting. But at the moment we're just sleepwalking into the relegation zone, and there's not a lot of fight being put up by the players. So it's very little positives at the moment to suggest why West Ham should keep David Moyes and not give someone else a chance to just do something which seems to be better than what's happening at the moment. I mean, you've seen a lot of names sort of being linked to the club by fans, such as Kevin Nolan, who's currently there. He should, if he was to get it, he would bring a lot of passion, and he knows the club, he knows Mark Noble, the captain. So that might not be a bad shout, but again, he's very inexperienced. All he has really is his time at Notts County, which he did well at a time, and then he starts to drop off. So there's a lot of questions around which manager should replace Moyes, but for the time being, Moyes will be in charge for the Chelsea game. So I think you'll see much of the same players that we set out with. I think it'll be Fabianski in goal, it'll be Fredericks at right back as Nagaki is leaving. Ogbonna will be fit, hopefully, so he will be starting alongside Diop. It will probably be Cresswell at left back. It's just sort of becoming predictable what we will be, and then the midfield will probably be Souček and Rice. And Noble's positions may be the most questionable at the moment after his performance against Tottenham. It was possibly the worst I've seen him play in I don't know how long. The amount of times he gave the ball away and just looked slow and was off the pace, it was awful to see, because we love Mark Noble and I do want him to remain at the club, but his role as a starter needs to be brought into question, especially with Fornals and Jack Wilshere available, and they can play that third midfield spot probably better than Mark. They'll certainly have more legs and stamina to finish the game. So I think that's the one position that's probably the most questionable. Left wing will probably be Anderson, and hopefully he performs better. Right wing has to be Jarrod Bowen. He's looked one of the better players since we've come back. Not that that's too difficult. And striker, hopefully, will be Sebastian Haller if he is back fit. But whether or not he is, it remains to be seen. But if he isn't, I imagine Antonio will still remain up top, even though he's shown time and time again that he cannot play really as a lone striker. The times he's looked brilliant is playing with Haller, and the times Haller's looked brilliant is playing with Antonio. So we need both of them playing together. And at the moment, I can't see Moyes going to a two up the top system, even though some players do deserve chances, like Ayeti, a striker that we haven't used. And it's mind-boggling that we just don't seem to change the team around, even though it's becoming more and more predictable. And I think that's what's going to happen in the Chelsea game. We're going to line up, try to get a point, and we're eventually going to get broken down. We did beat them at Stamford Bridge doing this tactic, but there's only so many times you pull off something like that, and I think it's very unlikely we'll be able to do the same again. And Chelsea looked quite good against Villa, I thought. They were unlucky to sort of go 1-0 down. They dominated the first half, and then they showed their class and they got back in front through goals from Pulisic and Giroud, two really good players that are capable of causing a lot of harm to West Ham, and especially with other options like Mason Mount. He's looked lively against Villa. Tammy Abraham still to come back. He can be a dangerous player against us. the one thing West Ham would have to take advantage of is the goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga. His save percentage is under 60% of shots faced. So we just need to have shots. We just need to shoot on sight, really, and maybe we have a chance of scoring, because he's looked very questionable, and that's the only way we're going to get something. We're not going to hold out for a 0-0 draw. We need to score goals. That's what's going to keep us up, and it's becoming more and more frivolous whether or not we do. But the only way we're going to stay up is scoring goals and getting ourselves something quickly. Whether it will happen against Chelsea, I highly doubt it. The more important games are the games following, like Newcastle and Burnley and Watford. Those are the games that we have to get points from if we are to stay up. And it's becoming, time's running out, really. And our main hope at the moment is having Bournemouth, Villa and Norwich not pick up points, which for £100 million expenditure, changing managers, it's not anywhere near good enough. So the Chelsea game is going to be difficult. It's going to be really difficult. We need to really look at ourselves after the Spurs and Wolves games and decide what we want, what we want to do, how we're going to play the game, whether or not we want to fight to stay in the Premier League or we're just going to go. And I think they owe the fans to at least show some fight. I mean, we're some of the best fans in the world, and all of the conversation around the Hammers fans are inhibiting the players. They're too negative. The pressure's too much because of animosity towards the board. It's getting on all of this protest. It's getting on the players' backs. It's not allowing them to perform to their best. Well, the fans aren't there now. So what's the excuse of misplacing 5 passes in a row, not covering your marker, not making that run? What are the excuses? So they need to really look at themselves. They're top players that have not performed. Felipe Anderson is a quality player. We saw that last season, but he needs to really pull out a performance. Lanzini, it's not too long ago he was being called up into the Argentina squad. Yes, he's had a big injury, but he needs to find that form. Otherwise, he's just going to see his career waste away. Jarrod Bowen, he's done well, but he's got a huge point to prove to stay in the Premier League if we were to get relegated. He needs to prove to other clubs why they should save him from going down with West Ham. Antonio, he's been a talisman for us for a few years, but he's not providing goals or assists. He needs to show that he is still that same player. He needs to chase down the ball, not walk around as we saw against Wolves and Tottenham. So Antonio needs to improve quickly and drastically, and also the defence. I mean, Balbuena, I thought actually came in, did quite a good job, considering how he's been performing most of the season. I think I put that down to him being knackered after the Copa America, and he's finally sort of refreshed himself. But him and Diop last season were really, really good, and that partnership sort of completely faded away. Ogbona's come in and has done a fantastic job, but the gel doesn't seem to happen with him and Diop the same way as Diop and Balbuena had last season. So there's a huge amount that needs to be done in the next 8 days. Chelsea have 3 games to play. That's the other thing that we should be sort of excited about, is the fact Chelsea have a lot of games to play before our game, so we should be quite well rested and they should be knackered. Whether or not we trust Moyes to sort of take advantage of this, I don't know. I'm losing faith with the manager quite quickly, and I mean, hopefully I'm wrong and he proves us all wrong, as I'm sure a lot of us are predicting Chelsea to win, and I will probably predict Chelsea to win the game 2-0. I think it would be a third 2-0 on the bounce. I don't think we're going to score a goal until maybe Newcastle, probably Bournemouth, Burnley. So yeah, my prediction will be 2-0 to Chelsea. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope David Moyes proves me wrong, but it's not looking good at the moment. Cheers.
Hello and welcome to the Chelsea side of this West Ham versus Chelsea preview. I hope you're all well. Man Harold here. I do some stuff on Chelsea for YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, to talk about the Chelsea side. But before I get onto that, let's talk about obviously yourselves. From my point of view, you know, we should go into this game looking for a win. We've got to win for our top 4 hopes. But you know, looking at your form, you've lost 8 out of 12 since the turn of the year. awful form. I know you're sort of really scrapping down there, and as I record this, you're 17th on goal difference. So you're fighting for your lives, and every point matters for yourselves as well. So, you know, the style of play that you have is completely suited, in my opinion, against us. You know, you saw Villa in the last game, because I'm recording this before we play Man City and Leicester, so you know we've got 2 more games before you play you, which may help with fitness, with sharpness, etc. But you know, as I said, the style of play that you have plays right into your hands, really, because the way we play, we struggle to break teams down, we struggle to get in behind, we don't really take our chances. So for me, if you set up the way you have done, I think, you know, you could look to at least get a point here, and as I said, you really need it. You know, I'm interested to see how Rice plays at centre-back, because, you know, not to be an arse, but, you know, we've been semi-linked with him, and quite a lot of Chelsea fans are now warming up to the prospect of him possibly signing for us, so I'm interested to see him play. I haven't really seen him play for you. So yeah, if you set up and try and just hit us on the counter-attack, you might be able to get a goal. So, you know, I'm not saying it's going to be a whitewash. I'm not saying that Chelsea are going to win, but I feel if we play our game and we do what we should do, if we take our chances that, you know, we haven't always done, and we cut out the silly mistakes, I feel that, you know, it's nothing but a Chelsea win. So for me, it all depends on what kind of Chelsea turns up. If we're below par, you've got a chance. If we're 75% at least, you know, we should walk away with the 3 points. And as I said, I'm recording this with 2 games before, so it's really difficult for me to say what sort of team we're going to play. I think in terms of formation, because we need to have as much creativity as possible against yourselves, I think 4 at the back, sort of a 2 holding man pivot, 3 sort of left wing, centre attacking mid, right wing, and the up front. It's kind of the way that I think Lampard should go. You know, Pulisic hitting a bit of form. You'd hope that Mount can, you know, get some minutes. Kante's looking a bit more, a little bit better in that DM role. So yeah, I think Chelsea, as I said, if we turn up, we get the 3 points. As I said earlier, we need the points. You know, we're looking to consolidate our Champions League spot, possibly even going for 3rd now. So, you know, Frank Lampard knows how much points are worth between now and the end of the season. So it'll be a really, really interesting game, in my opinion. Both teams wanting the points, both teams needing the win. So I'm hoping for a really good game. I know, you know, this behind closed doors football is a little bit different and strange for us all to get used to, and you know, the lack of atmosphere is going to hurt West Ham, in my opinion, because that crowd is kind of your 12th man in home games, especially London derbies like ourselves. But you know, looking at your recent form and looking at ours, as I said, I can only ever see a Chelsea win. You know, I'm expecting us to, you know, probably concede a goal because of our defensive vulnerability, but you know, I'm looking for 2-3 goals to be putting past you. So really and truly, I only ever really expect the Chelsea win. But you know, I'm really excited for the game. It'll be another stern test for us, and one that I'm looking forward to. You know, it's always good to win London derbies, but yeah, I think anything you guys get out of the game, as I said, it is a bonus for yourselves. But we need to get the 3 points. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the game.